I have not made a video in a while. Making videos for me has always been like my escape, my passion, the thing I love doing. But I've been struggling to find focus lately, and I think that is I think it's true for a lot of people. I've been out protesting every day since they began in the shadow of George Floyd's murder. And I wanted to explain why I've been protesting and what it is that I'm protesting. Okay. You're asleep in your bed, in your home, and it's after midnight, and all of a sudden, you're asleep in that bed, your girlfriend's next to you, boom, door gets kicked in. 3 men smash in your door, and they come running into your home. And you're worried about your girlfriend, so you grab your gun, which you're legally permitted to have. And you see these 3 dudes, you shoot at one of them, you hit him in the leg. And the 3 guys that just broke into your house, that just smashed down your door, they respond by firing 20 shots, 8 of which hit your girlfriend, and she's dead. And then you get taken away in handcuffs by the 3 men that just broke into your apartment and killed your girlfriend. Her name was Breonna Taylor. She was 26 years old. She worked as a technician in an emergency room, and she's dead. And the 3 men that shot her were cops. They were in plain clothes. They had something called a no-knock search warrant, which permitted them to bust in that door totally unannounced in the middle of the night. And they did all this because they thought that she had drugs in her apartment. Those cops, the police, they didn't find any drugs because she didn't have any drugs in her apartment. That was March 13th. That was 3 months ago. And the 3 men who shot her 8 times and killed her, they've faced no punishment. That's not just. That's not right. And if there are laws that say that that's okay, that are protecting these 3 men who killed her, then those laws are wrong. And whether it's a knee on your neck for 9 minutes until you asphyxiate and die because you used a counterfeit $20 bill, or you're strangled to death in a chokehold on a sidewalk because you were selling individual cigarettes, which you're not supposed to do, none of that's just. None of that is justice. And none of that's okay. And if you've got a conscience, you want that to change. And change is really hard. You vote, you speak up, you promote politicians or people who can affect change who have the same values as you. But sometimes you have to take to the streets. Sometimes you march. You force your voice to be heard. This right now, this is a moment. And this is a moment that will be discussed and talked about for the rest of our lives. And right now, that discussion is muddled. And it's muddled by the looters and criminals who are using peaceful discourse, peaceful protesting as an excuse for criminality. It's muddled by police that are tear gassing demonstrators for a photo shoot in front of a boarded up church. And it's muddled by these sensational instances that make for compelling television. But if you look just beyond the shit you're seeing on the news every night, you look just beyond that sensationalism, if you don't let yourself be distracted, you can see what's actually taking place right now. And you see people all over this country in all 50 states and all over the world standing up against injustice, standing up for racial equality, standing up for black people who have contributed to the growth and success of this country just as much as anyone else, but have never been able to enjoy the same freedoms as everyone else. Racism in America is real. If you don't believe me, scroll down. Look at the comments on this video. And when you don't think something is real, when you don't think something is a problem because that something doesn't affect you personally, that's privilege. Now, I'm not scared of a cop, not scared of police. I've never been scared when a police officer pulls me over in my car. I've never feared for my life. I'm not concerned that I might not get a bank loan, or a lease in an apartment, or get the full attention of a doctor in a hospital because of the color of my skin. These things just don't occur to me. And that is privilege. That's privilege. Knowing what to do with that privilege is really hard. But you can use that privilege to hold other people accountable when you see racism taking place. That's where it matters. Behind closed doors, when no one is looking, that's where progress can begin. And vote. Voting's not sexy. Talking about voting's not sexy. It takes time, it's slow, but voting works. Ella Jones just became the first black mayor, the first woman to be mayor of Ferguson, Missouri. And on that same day that she was elected mayor, Representative Steve King from Iowa, vocal racist, was voted out of office after 17 years. That's progress. Vote. Because this right now, this is our time. And I'll end this whole monologue by saying, everyone loves to quote Dr. Martin Luther King. They love to put his face on Instagram, love to put his words on Twitter, but ask yourself this. When it was his time, would you have marched alongside him? Because he wasn't loved then. He wasn't celebrated. He was vilified. And the same kind of vitriol that's being used against the critics of this movement, that vitriol is used against him. He's dangerous. He's inciting violence. He's not protesting the right way. He's racist. When he and other nonviolent activists marched from Selma to Montgomery because they wanted the same voting rights as non-blacks, they were met with violence and hatred. Would you have shown up? So that was 50 years ago, and that was their moment, and this is ours. And you have to honestly look in the mirror, and knowing that this will be remembered, ask yourself, how do you want to remember your role in this? And with that, I say, let's go. Let's put on our fucking boots, because it's time to march.